All right, welcome back to the Steve Gruber Show. Glad to have you here live from Washington, D.C., a special edition of the program all week. Joining me right now is Ying Chen. She's an orchestra conductor who has been with Shen Yun from the very beginning. It's a traveling performing group and a group that has defied the CCP, has defied the Chinese Communist Party over and over again. And she joins me now. Ying Chen, thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so for people that don't know, explain what Shen Yun is, where you travel, what your influence is, and why it's so defiant of the Chinese Communist Party.
Thank you. Our company is actually an American company created in New York back in 2006. Our mission of creating the troop was because we were persecuted. Many of the founders of the Shen Yun were subject to the persecution of the Falun Gong spiritual group in China. So my family included, both my parents are musicians, and for their careers, and I was also raised a musician. But in China, the arts were heavily censored, and on top of that, because we practiced the Buddhist-based spiritual group Falun Gong, we were persecuted in China. Both my parents were incarcerated just for their belief, and my brother was tortured for 18 months in the labor camp. And this was very common and continues to be happening in China today. So one of the reasons we created Shen Yun was to raise awareness of the persecution of not just actually Falun Gong, but other religious groups in China as well.
Sure. Let me ask you this, though, because this is kind of important. Originally, 20 years ago, the Chinese Communist Party supported Falun Gong. They seemed to be supportive of it. But then there came a realization, and I was surprised to learn this recently. In China, a nation of 1 billion people, there are only between 60 and 100 million members of the party, of the Chinese Communist Party. And when they realized that Falun Gong was larger than the Chinese Communist Party, suddenly they didn't like you anymore. Suddenly they started to attack, they started to undermine, they started to, well, make it illegal, basically, didn't they?
Yes, I'm so surprised you know that, because many people didn't. Initially, in China, the government always keeps an eye on everything that is growing and gaining popularity. So, but in the beginning, it was you see all positive reports. All media in China is controlled by the government, and Falun Gong founder was receiving rewards, and you hear all sort of positive media in China until it just became too popular, and you have people from all walks of life, including government officials, practicing. So that's when the government got uneasy about it, and then started to crack it down. And because it's spiritual, so a lot of people continue to practice, believing that this is something great for them, and they don't want to smear it just because the government says so. But if you continue to practice, they continue to escalate the persecution. And we're even talking about forced organ harvesting. You may have heard about the Congress recently unanimously passed an act, Falun Gong Protection Act, to address that issue, where in China, they're actually taking organs from live people,
Yeah. So yeah. They treat the members of Falun Gong as poorly as they treat Uyghurs, for example, the CCP. And so the CCP, once a champion of Falun Gong, became its biggest enemy. But yet Falun Gong and its followers, people like yourself, you've made it. It continues in China. It continues to be practiced. It continues to spread. It seems that the CCP, despite their crackdown, they can't stop you from being you, apparently.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why Shen Yun has been successful, we've grown from 1 company to 8 companies and reaching over 1 million people now annually, is because we also present the true, authentic, magnificent culture of China. And that really resonates with people, Westerners and Chinese, for them to see what our brilliant culture has been, that has been suffocated and eradicated by the communist regime after they took over China, because for them to instill Marxism on people. However, this is our spirituality, what flows in our blood for thousands of years. So for us to showcase that glorious culture on stage without CCP influence, it's just something really astonishing. And
Ying, let me ask you this. Yeah, let me ask you, are you concerned about your safety? And I say that because it's no secret that the CCP has tentacles throughout the world. The Silk Road Initiative, among the things that get people into certain areas, the Confucius Institutes used to give people ideas that I believe are favorable to the CCP, whether they're true or not. Obviously, they have a lot of reach into America, into the places you travel with Shen Yun. Do you fear for your safety?
Definitely. We receive bomb threats almost on a weekly basis. I know it's hard for you to believe, but this year, many of the theaters that we've toured to, and not just in North America, but in Taiwan, in Asia, Japan, in all over Europe, theaters have received bomb threats and threats of mass shooting, threats of raping our female performers, back in our back quarters, our headquarters. This is just something that we've feared, that we faced from day one for the last 19 years. So it's not news to us, and we knew when we decided to join this mission that there would be risk involved. And there have been many incidents, over 140 incidents documented, including our buses, the tires of our buses being slashed,
Sure.
and the house being slashed.
Are you hopeful that there's a lot of conjecture right now that Xi Jinping is in a very weak position compared to where he has been historically? Some believe he may have suffered a stroke about a year ago. Hard to determine if that's true, but believe that his health may have been compromised and that the generals in the military moved around the power structure, meaning Xi Jinping is more isolated than he's been in a long time and could be pushed out of power. Do you hope at some point the Chinese Communist Party becomes something of the past and the Chinese people can live free? I'll give you the last word on that.
I certainly hope so, but Xi Jinping is only one part of that regime, and I think it's important for people in this country to understand the evil nature of that regime. It's really, you're talking about thugs there. You're talking about people who don't honor their words.
Yeah.
So we need to recognize that. And the Chinese people, don't get me wrong, they are wonderful. They're great. They work so hard.
Of that, I have no doubt. The Chinese Communist Party, however, not wonderful. Not wonderful at all. Ying Chen, thank you for being here, and I wish you safe travels and health. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quite a story. You can look that up. Shen Yun. You can find out more. They travel around the world and share their beliefs. Did you know that scammers can literally steal your house? It's called house stealing, according to the FBI, and here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on a document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file it with your local recorder's office, and just like that, your home title is not in your name anymore. And once they have that, they can use the documents to take loans against the equity you have in your home. They can even sell your property, and you won't even know it until you get the letters in the mail demanding payment. But the $1 Million Triple Lock Protection Plan can help you. Here's how it works. Get immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property. Urgent alerts if there are any changes. And if fraud should happen, the U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud, restore your title, no additional cost. I've teamed up with Home Title Lock to give you a free title history, so you can find out if you're already a victim and access your personal title expert. It's a $250 value free. That's right. Go to HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Gruber. You'll save that money. HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Gruber.